I am such an amateur. I tell you what. Okay, here we go. Uh, I'm doing this all on my own. Um, that makes it fun, right? Yeah, it's fun for me. It's Thursday afternoon, about 1 o'clock. Thursday, fourth week of Lent. Welcome to Reflections with me, your host. I'm Chris. There's my name right there. um, yeah, I've had a good morning. It's a good morning. Thursday morning is the time that I volunteer at the cathedral to help pass out food to people who are either currently homeless or food insecure for some reason, every Thursday morning. And it was a good morning. Unfortunately, there was a lot of need today. Maybe it's because it's the last day of the month and people don't have their they don't have any finances, right? Their Social Security checks won't come in until tomorrow. Perhaps that's what it is. I don't know. In any event, there were a lot of people out there today. Yeah, it's not getting better. No, if anything, it's getting worse. So we continue working, right? So today's gospel reading has given me some pause for thinking about how, if I was a first century person living in or around Jerusalem, Galilee, Judea, what would I think about Jesus? Am I the kind of person that he would call to be a disciple, follow him? I don't know. Let's take a look at what the reading has to say, and we'll kind of go through my thought process here. It's kind of cold, so I had my wall heater going. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Well, that was unfortunate. I completely forgot to get my microphone up in front of me. So now it's in front of me. Hopefully, if I can keep from swallowing it. There we go. Couldn't hear what I was saying, probably. Or if you could, it was very faint. In any event, let's get going with this. This is definitely the amateur hour today. Yeah. Anyhow, you can tell I'm not a professional doing this. So we've got a reading from the Gospel according to John. This is chapter 5, verses 31 through 47. It takes up right after the readings from yesterday. So Jesus said to the Jews, remember the Jews are the religious authorities of the day, if I testify on my own behalf, my testimony is not true. But if there is another who testifies on my behalf, and I know that the testimony he gives on my behalf is true, you sent emissaries to John, and he testified to the truth. And this word testify or testimony comes from the word for witness, which is where we get the word martyr. So martyr actually is just a witness. So in this case, it's someone who has witnessed Christ, who has witnessed who Jesus is. And of course, John is John the Baptist. But then Jesus goes on to say, I do not accept human testimony, but I say this so that you may be saved. John was human. So he doesn't even accept John the Baptist's testimony as to who he was. But this is what he has to say about him. He was a burning and shining lamp, and for a while you were content to rejoice in his light. But I have testimony, or a witness, that is greater than John's. The works that the Father gave me to accomplish, these works that I perform testify on my behalf that the Father has sent me. Moreover, the Father who sent me has testified on my behalf. But you have never heard his voice, nor seen his form. And you do not have his word remaining in you, because you do not believe in the one whom he has sent. Okay, now that one sentence is deep, right? The Father has testified on his behalf. Now, how does he do that? Through the things that he does, the things that Jesus does, through the words that Jesus says. But not even that. There's more. You search the scriptures because you think you have eternal life through them. Even they testify on my behalf. But you do not want to come to me to have life. So there's a lot there that Jesus points to as a witness of who he is. And I just wonder, if I was living in those times, if I was a person who lived in the country, even if I lived in the city, but I wasn't of the priestly class or a member of the royal house, I might not know how to read. I don't know. I don't know how well literate people were there. So it's not like I could read the scriptures. They were on scrolls, so there was no such thing as a Bibles. No one carried scrolls around with them. The scrolls were kept in the synagogue. So I'd be going on hearsay. I'd be going on what I may have observed, what I may have directly heard. But would I have believed that he was the Messiah? That's a good question. I don't know. But I always wonder, it's like I have the benefit of hindsight of 2,000 years. But in the moment, I don't know. I think about the people who live today that claim to have some type of a message. How do I evaluate them? How do I discern them? How do I know what's from God, what's not from God? Well, I believe there's a way to know, but it does take discernment. It takes some knowledge of what I feel are sacred scriptures. But it's interesting. I still find it interesting to think about how I would have reacted to living in the time of Jesus. Yeah, let's go on. Let's see what else we got. We got a little bit more to read here. I do not accept human praise. Moreover, I know that you do not have the love of God in you. I came in the name of my Father, but you do not accept me. Yet, if another comes in his own name, you will accept him. And I think that's one of the indicators as far as discernment goes. If a person comes and they claim to be, some special guru or, some special teacher, do they come in their own name? It's the first question to ask. How can you believe when you accept praise from one another and do not seek the praise that comes from the only God? You accept praise from one another. We need to be careful about that. I mean, pride is one of the big downfalls of the human race. And we have a monthly newsletter thing that comes out in our parish, and we highlight various ministries. And I have a ministry, I guess you'd call it that. I host and help produce a podcast. It's called Let's Talk Parish, where we talk to individuals in the parish, get their life story, this journey of faith. And this month, Let's Talk Parish was highlighted in the newsletter. There's lots of pictures, but it's pictures of people that were guests on the podcast. There's not a picture of me. And someone asked me yesterday, at least so far, only one person has said anything to me about it. And he asked me, he goes, well, how come there's not a picture of you? And I said, well, it's not about me. It's about everybody else. So I just thought that was an interesting question and a realization that of all the pictures that I submitted to be included with the article, I didn't submit one of my own. Interesting. Yeah. However, I'm not looking for praise. I mean, I say when people do, whether if I'm in the choir and they say something nice about the singing or whatever, I always say thank you, because I want to receive their compliment. But then I always give praise to God, right? Because when someone praises me for something, it says more about them than it does about me, right? It's a very subjective thing. Whatever I did that they appreciated, it's very subjective. So I thank them for that, but I give praise to God. And let's go on. Do not think that I will accuse you before the Father. The one who will accuse you is Moses, in whom you have placed your hope. For if you had believed Moses, you would have believed me, because he wrote about me. But if you do not believe his writings, how will you believe my words? How interesting. How interesting. So one of the things that this last sentence underscores, the writings of Moses. Now, what are the writings of Moses? Traditionally, it was said that Moses wrote the first 5 books, the Pentateuch, first 5 books of the Hebrew Scriptures, the Old Testament. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Numbers. That's 5. Scholars have said that's not possible. I don't really care. But in the time of Jesus, that's probably what people thought. And so what he's saying is that in those 5 books, something that Moses wrote spoke about Christ, which gives importance to those writings. So it's important that not only do we read the New Testament, but that we read the Old Testament. It's of a one piece. It's like 2 halves of a book, and the spine of the book is Jesus, the Gospels. Both important. You don't get the whole story if you don't read the whole book. So today my reflection is basically, and I'm just going to ponder this the rest of the day. If I had lived 2,000 or so years ago in the land of Israel, what would I have thought about Jesus? Yeah. What would I have thought? Well, I think it's worth reflecting on. I continue to leave that up there. My bad. One of these days, I keep thinking that once my picture comes down, that goes with it, but that's not the case. Oh, well. But be that as it may, thank you very much for being with me today, whether live or via recording. I trust you have a beautiful day today. Tomorrow is the April 1st, April Fool's Day, so who knows what's going to happen. I look forward to being with you again sometime tomorrow. Yeah, maybe it'll be before lunch. Maybe it'll be in the morning. I don't know. We'll see. But in any event, I pray that you are happy, that you're healthy, that you're safe, and God bless.